Hey everybody, Matt here. I'm going to do a quick little review on this particular graphic novel, Batman: Son of the Demon, for you guys. Um, this novel came out in 1987 and was written by Mike Barr and art by Jerry Bingham. Um, the reason why I want to highlight this graphic novel is just because of the whole hype around the whole 52, New 52. Um, and I think this particular graphic novel um, flies under people's radar a lot, uh, and I'll tell you why. This book has repercussions of what happens later on in life for Bruce Wayne. Um, at the end of the book, you're introduced to what is, and he's not named yet, but what is known as his son, Damian Wayne. But we'll get to that in a little bit. So that ties into the whole New 52 because the current Robin in the New 52 is Damian Wayne, his son. So anyway, let me backtrack a little bit. Um, like I said, this book was published in 1987, and uh, like I said, this book flies under a lot of people's radar. And any Batman fan that enjoys Year One or Hush or any, you should pick this up. It's really cheap. Just go out and find it. Find a cheap copy and read it. It's a fun read. Um, the story centers around Ra's al Ghul and Bruce Wayne, um, and Talia, Raz's daughters in it, and basically the story starts out with a murder, and the murder happens to be a man by the name of Harris Blaine. And Harris Blaine's one of Gotham City's most important scientists, and Batman's trying to figure out what happened, who killed this guy. So, whoever killed him tried to make it set up as a suicide, which wasn't so. Batman saw right through that. So he's like, nope, someone did this. I need to figure this out. Well, as Batman's trying to figure it out, Ra's al Ghul is also trying to uh, solve this murder himself because it does deal with him in a little bit. Um, and Ra's al Ghul's onto the person who he thinks he knows who it is. And Batman knows that Ra's al Ghul has something to do with the murder of this particular guy. So, Bruce Wayne, Batman, is currently dating Talia al Ghul, who is Raz's daughter. So, and if you haven't read some of the Batman and detective issues coming up to this, you'll know that Ra's al Ghul went missing. So you're not quite sure if he's alive or he's dead. Obviously he's alive because I told you that. But so Bruce Wayne and Talia end up going to Ra's al Ghul's lair. And confronting him about this murder. You know, Batman says, what's going on? I know you know something. Like this is too fishy to, for you not to know anything. He had too many connections to this. And as Ra's al Ghul professes his innocence, which he really is innocent, um, they kind of figure out that it's this boy. I shouldn't say he's a boy. He's a man now, but a boy that Ra's al Ghul was the godfather of that ended up doing this murder. Um, and so Batman and Ra's came to the conclusion that, hey, in order to stop this guy, we have to team up. We have to make this work together. Otherwise, it's not going to work. His whole and the guy, the godson of Ra's al Ghul, his name is Kane, spelled with a Q. And Kane's master plan is to take the he's to take a satellite and launch it into orbit to control the atmospheric changes, so he can control the weather and basically like world destruction type yada yada yada. So and the other thing I have to backtrack is this is in '87, so the whole Soviet Union uh, thing, going on with Gorbachev and Reagan was in the heat of the, it was the topic of the year type of thing, and everyone was, scared who's going to launch, bombs at who and yada yada yada. So I have to preface by saying that. So Kane's master plan is to send hurricanes into Russia, and Gorbachev gets on the phone to Reagan, and he calls the White House and says, if you come within 100 miles of Moscow, I'll declare that as an act of war, and we're going to go from there. So, everyone's freaked out that this could actually become World War III here because of this dude who just wants to, kill everybody. He finds out that he is dying from a sickness, which the book doesn't actually tell. I'm assuming it's a cancer or something. So he doesn't care. He says, I'm dying anyways. I might as well bring everybody down with me. So Batman and Ra's team up. In the meanwhile, Bruce Wayne and Talia are, talking about a previous engagement that they had, and actually that in a previous issue, which I don't have, but I do remember reading this, that Bruce and Talia actually got married. So they are husband and wife. And so they, obviously they do what husbands and wives do, and they, do the dirty, and she actually conceives a child. And Batman's on the fence about this. He's really happy because he loves her, but he also knows in his line of work it's probably not the best thing to be a father. It's too dangerous. He never wanted to be with anybody just for that fact. It's too dangerous. So he's on the fence about, taking this Kane down. So she comes up with this plan, and during a gunfight, everything's okay. Talia ends up going to the hospital. She was fine, just for precautionary reasons. But she tells Bruce Wayne she lost the baby. So Bruce, pissed off, seeking revenge, tells Ra's, "Let's do this. Let's take this dude down," and they end up taking him down rather easily. If that's probably the worst part of the book. They took him down rather easily. It came to an abrupt end, but it needed to be done. And after they take him down, Batman says, "I'm no longer needed here. I'm going back home." Talia asks him to leave. She says she doesn't want any part of it anymore. She wants him out of her life, basically. And as Batman's leaving, Ra's al Ghul calls him his son. He says, "I'm very sorry, my son," which is a big thing. It's a big deal because Batman and Ra's have been. He's one of his greatest foes, so that was really cool to see that. Flash forward 9 months later, you end up on this couple's doorstep, and they end up opening the door and seeing a baby boy outside, which happens to be Damian Wayne. And that's how the story ends. she ended up keeping the baby and didn't tell him, so he had no idea uh, that he even had the son. He thought he had lost the son the whole time. So it was fantastic, and I'm gonna have to put spoiler alert because I did spoil it for you. But it was a fantastic read, you guys. And even though I told you the ending, you should just pick it up anyways. It's an essential Batman. Um, like I said, it flies under a lot of people's radar, but it really shouldn't because this is such a good read. The artwork is fantastic. I don't know if you can see the painted cover there. So cool. And on the back, it's got a whole Star Wars like feel to it with Roz and Talia and the Earth with the missiles coming up and knocking out the satellite. Um, and like I said, it's really cheap. You can go on Amazon and buy this for like a couple bucks. So go out there, pick it up. It's essential Batman reading. Go out there, pick it up. I know Poet Skinny's a fanatic Batman fan. So if you haven't seen this, Poet Skinny, go pick it up, man. It's super. You can probably get it off Nucadia for super cheap. So anyway, I hope you guys liked it, liked the review, and go pick up Batman Son of the Demon. Oh, and drink Diet Mountain Dew.